Hello and welcome to Tech Off Topic, our usual branch of stupidity on the internet from the fork of me and Jim. There you go, there's a nearly programmer joke for us. It's been a bit of a hiatus, so I'm Mike Elsmore. I am currently fun employed for a DevRel position. Please hire me. And with me, as per usual, we have...
Hello, I'm Jim Second, and I am employed. I enjoyed the fork joke. You've thought about that, I think.
No, that was on the fly, my dude.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, in developer relations positions, this is why you should employ Mike. I mean, that kind of punnage is priceless.
I appreciate that, even though I know you're killing me inside going, why did you start with a joke?
Next time I make a joke at our next event to start off with as comparing, I can hammer you with this really.
Oh crud! Yes,
We're coming, and also the next event we're doing is going to be the Christmas edition, so I can wheel out sequel clauses coming to town, and and everyone can just go, oh no, not again.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! So yes, this is Tech Off Topic. We've been away for a while because life,
children, jobs, that sort of thing.
I'd love to say jobs, but I don't have one.
Mike's got more time on his hands now, so maybe you could have spent some of the time preparing the agenda for today. But the agenda today, ladies and gentlemen, was prepared by me exclusively in about 10 minutes. To which Mike said he was quite impressed with how much I managed to sort of brain dump. I feel like we're missing loads of things that have happened since the last time we did this, though.
So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have some random stuff that you would like us to go off topic, feel free to put it in the chat. We'll do our thing.
How many potential sort of victims are in the chat at the moment that might spring up something?
Oh, at least 3 people I know will dump some stuff in there.
Oh, okay, that's good. Like for anyone that's new or listening for the first time, it's Tech Off Topic, and the most enjoyable episodes are always where we really go off topic. Anything unprepared, as I normally say, it's like Badil and Skinner unplanned, except we're not funny.
Yeah, we're not funny, but somehow it works, and we find it entertaining, so we're going to carry on doing it.
It's mostly for us, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
pretty much. Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to call it out. There will be no British politics because both me and Jim are charged on this one, and we're probably going to lose our shit. So we will not be discussing politics as Tech Off Topic because that would derail everything.
There's just no point. You could just do I read an explanation on what happened on Wednesday in the UK, and my jaw dropped, and I thought, I can't deal with this now. I'm just going to have to sort of mentally block it out. For anyone else that's listening on Spotify, Mike has done this thing. I don't really understand, because it's to do with his kind of the Twitch stream and all the kind of the followers and and raids and stuff like that. And I'm an old person, but he's wearing a pink hat, and it's some sort of trolling thing, and I can't work out why.
This is literally a self-troll, my sir. So, for those of you who haven't been on my Twitch stream before and you were listening on the podcast, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/UKMadLZ. And on Twitch, there is an entire principle of, community memes and little bits of in-jokes here and there. Unfortunately, one of those is the fact that I once said the word in a really weird way. It got clipped and then became an entire meme on its own. And one of the memes was trying to get me to say it repeatedly. And whilst not sober the other week, I went, right, if somebody makes me say it, I'm going to buy a hat and then I'm going to wear it. And now it's a thing. Because there was a channel point challenge where people had to, trigger me to do it and then make me wear the damn hat. So here's the
young people and your antics. It's just what ridiculous. And why is it millennial salmon pink?
Because I let chat pick the color.
Okay. I mean, millennial pink is a pretty trolly color. That's fine.
Yeah, it's also a flipping dad hat, which is also the beginning of trolling, as it is.
What's a dad hat?
This is a dad hat. So this is a dad hat. You know the normal flat brim ones I have? They are
I know what they're called. They're called snapbacks.
exactly. So the
I know
dad
about
hat and the
those.
snapback, and if it's got a mesh back, it's a trucker hat.
It's got a mesh, but it's got a mesh back. Were you like rapping there? That's
Oh god.
um.
And
Okay,
yes, the
right.
channel point redemptions are turned off because I always have them turned off during the podcast. Otherwise, they're a giant pain in my bum.
I mean, this is why you do it, though, Mike, isn't it?
Hmm.
That's the
No,
whole
I do the
entertainment.
podcast because I like podcasting. I don't do the trolling for that.
Do you just let everyone else do it for you?
Pretty much. Why do you think I'm wearing a bloody hat?
Because people redeem their points to tell you to wear the hat. Do you want to pick something from the from all of my masterful topics that I came up with in 5 minutes?
Yeah, no, this one is one that I haven't read about, so I'm going to need you to explain it to me because this one I think is mildly explosive.
Mildly explosive.
Pulumi get busted papering themselves all over Hashiconf.
That's not what I expected you. That's not what I expected you to pick, actually.
Well, just
So,
because of our jobs, that's one of those ones where it's like, oh damn, oh damn.
okay, so because of our, there was an interesting subtext on top of that, and it comes into our jobs of people saying that what we do isn't relevant, which is kind of interesting, and it comes into that whole like top influencer. Do you know what Corey Quinn said it when you're all like speaking to yourselves and nobody else cares, and it kind of there was a bit of that. Anyway, at Hashiconf, which was in the United States of America somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Probably in the Bay Area. Pulumi's developer relations people, and by say people, I mean like I don't know their whole team, but basically I know Cat Cosgrove and like and previously I would have said Matty Stratton, but he's now Ivan or
I believe he's Lorna's boss at Ivan.
So they weren't consulted about this when sales or marketing, presumably one of the two, decided to take the Pulumi marketing divisions and do a really big ad flyer campaign of like fly sticking stuff across everywhere at Hashiconf, their main rival. And I know that in the US, rivalry is perceived as different. Like for instance, in the US, McDonald's can name Burger King and actually troll them, right? In the EU, you can't do that. So, you're not allowed to name competitors by name, but that's not America's more sort of
when you've got a suing culture, what do you expect?
Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah, so obviously everyone with the Devra at Pulumi went, you did what? Do you realize that makes us look really petty? And they were like, no, it's fine. So they weren't consulted about it at all. And then, so they got, everyone got into a bit of a tiz within developer relations specifically. But then, when you get the sort of the voice of engineering, and sometimes it's like, and I think it's relevant sometimes of like, do you realize you're all talking amongst yourselves? Sometimes that is correct, and sometimes it isn't. In this case, someone said no one else outside of DevOps DevRel cared about this stunt, and I think, well, I mean, if you take the whole weird bit of niche stuff that we're in, it looks pretty rubbish, doesn't it? It makes you look really, really petty and terrible that you would go to your main competitor's event. Like if our main competitor is Twilio, if we all, like at Vonage, we all bombed the Signal conference and started trolling them or putting adverts on there, it'd be like, why are you doing that? That just makes you look like losers. So,
right. Well, I know why we care from our perspective, but that's because one of the in my eyes, DevRel has a core tenet, which is being a good citizen. Now, part of that is you don't trash the opposition because then that just seems petty and low.
That's why if you speak to anybody at various companies, they'll all tell you a story about how they went to a conference and then a sales and or marketing turned up and they were, oh, did you see the video? I'm going to derail this already. Did you see the video that someone took of some like sales bros at some conference, and they looked absolutely hammered on coke? Oh, how can I find this? It's Alan Partridge style cringeworthy.
Pardon me, what?
I need to find it. They're like, I will sell ABC. I'm gonna close it. I don't care who you are. You just and it's like, there's a disco on or whatever. There's like sort of like lasers and things, and you just look at it and go, this is the most pathetic alpha male thing I've ever seen.
Oh,
How can I find it?
Oh God. Well, oh, that is just horrendous.
Oh, I found it.
Okay. Feel free to. You're in the chat. You can throw it in. Or
Sorry. I've not even logged in. I do this
God.
every time, and Mike gets really annoyed with me. I've put it in the private chat so nobody can do it. So anyway, yeah,
That's fine. I've done it instead. And do I open this, or should I be scared?
Do it for the research.
Do it for the lols.
God,
I'm an elite sales. Oh God, I can't.
Yeah,
I just literally read the tag on it. It's like, nope. I love toxic masculinity as much as the next person. Nope.
It's anyway. You've got the link. Watch it and enjoy the show.
Okay. So Pulumi kind of sucked.
It was a sucky thing to do. I don't think there's much more about it than that. I think someone pointing out and saying it's just Devrel Twitter and no one cares was kind of a bit more interesting to me. That we always need to be very grounded with what we do in tech and remember that lots and lots of people don't care about what we do. And the way I present myself to people that write software sometimes is I don't say what my niche is. I just say that I'm a software engineer because I am. So they don't care about the other thing.
What does he do for a living? I'm a software engineer some of the time.
Which I am most of the time. I'm going to pick. Are you satisfied with that?
I'm satisfied because I was like, oh God, what's it going to? Oh, it's not as big as I thought it would. But
it's not that. It's not that bad. It's more sort of like a little bit humorous, gossipy. There's some tasty ones. And I know that
one I really don't want. I've got one that I really don't want you to pick on.
Oh no, I've got which one is it?
No, I'm keeping it to myself so that I can cry when you pick it.
If I can find it, I reckon I can find this quickly. I think that we never discussed this in a Tech Off topic, and I don't know how. I don't know how we didn't do it at the time. And it's Ubuntu. It's Ubuntu makers Canonical changing their interview process. And what they changed their interview process to was the most mad thing you've ever seen. You look at it and go, nobody is going to apply to work at your company ever again. It's like a 50 question questionnaire that's enormous, and it's about you, like, what were you like at high school and stuff like this.
What?
Have you not seen this?
No. I've been so buried in job interviews and what this week and the streams that I haven't had a chance to play catch up on everything.
Okay, I found it, and it's from the Linux subreddit. And I was talking.
Do you want to share your screen to share it? Because I think this is one of those ones that needs to be shown, isn't it?
I was talking about this with Zach Powell on our team, who's if he's listening, hello, because I think he might be. Let's without further ado. I've got it open, and it's painful to look at. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's do it.
Holy fuck! It looks like a 1976 CV to begin with.
Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in a bit to see what kind of chaos we're dealing with.
All those like 90s things where it's like, you know what we need to do? We need to enhance, enhance.
Is that from Blade Runner?
I think that's from every like
Maybe
freaking 19-something CSI sci-fi thing.
hackers. So look at the bullet points. Just look at the amount of bullet points that there are. And I'll just take some. So this is the person that applied was for the Ubuntu Windows subsystem for Linux engineering team. And okay, the stages for this application. So we're off good. We're going to define the interview process. You get a review of your resume. You get a written interview. A written interview is unusual. Standardized aptitude and personality assessment. Okay, we're on Myers-Briggs. We're already now we're red flagging everywhere. Culture, HR, peer reviews, and tech assessments. That's 4 things. Hiring manager and senior lead interviews. The senior lead interview being the thing that can kibosh the whole thing after you've done all of this in the first place. So at that point, we've not even started, and I go, no, see you later. Things that you have to do in the written interview. Education. How did you fare in high school mathematics, physical sciences, and computing? What were your strengths and what were most enjoyable? How did you rank competitively in these subjects? What sort of high school student were you? Outside of required work, what were your interests and hobbies? What would your high school peers remember you for if we asked them?
All right, I'm going to be honest right now. I'm in the category of people who can't remember high school.
I was a cabbage at high school, so
you're a what?
I was a cabbage. I just didn't know what I was doing at all. So
I think you still are a cabbage, mate, but that's beside the point.
That's for another tech off topic.
But no, it's like, okay, I'm at that age where what the hell does my high school have to do with anything? I grew up in the flipping village. We pretty much all we did was drink cider and have bad conversations.
Talk about sheep and things like that.
No, we're not Welsh.
Let's not get into standard UK trolling. We're in Birmingham, and that's where you're stupid. If you're Glasgow, you're a drunk, and if you're Bristol, you're stupid. You're a farmer. There are things that just context. Who are the competitors to Canonical, and what does Canonical need to change to be a more effective competitor? Well, I don't know, but I'm applying for a job to join your Windows subsystem for Linux as an engineer. So when it comes to platform and product research against competitors, I would say your chief competitor is my right testicle. I'm not sure. Why would you ask that? That's not in your remit at all. That's a weird question to ask.
I'm not going to lie. Out of all of that, there is not a single sensible question. I'm going to remove that from the screen because to be able to rant about this, we don't need that up anymore.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
There we go. But Jesus, bugger in Mary, my dude.
So anyone watching, so you obviously don't get the context if you're listening on, on Spotify or Apple Music, right? The whole page is this massive, rambling page of about 35 bullet points that you're expected to answer. I'd love to, if anyone has like LinkedIn, when you have LinkedIn Premium and you get like company insights, I'd love to see what Canonical's like hiring turnover is at the moment. Like who's joining? I'd look at that and go, no. The only people that I can see that are answering that are grads fresh out of university, and it won't be school because it asks about university specifically. So you're not going to get anyone below the age of 19, 20, 21, depending on US or UK.
Hang on, do you think that entire thing was aimed at what do you call it? Interns?
Mate, well, no, but it can't. It can't be. It can't be.
Who the heck's working the subsystem as an intern?
I did. Well, yeah. I mean, pass next. So that was. I found that fascinating. I don't think there's much of a discussion other than Canonical have probably struggled to hire until they decide to put that in the bin.
Canonical have been struggling to hire on and off for years because they keep doing that wonderful thing, the same as Mozilla. We're amazing. Oh shit, we fucked up. We're amazing. Oh shit, we fucked up. And they're just in a constant loop. And they don't do the managing the expectations and the damage control very well. So it's we're amazing. Now we're shit.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, I'll go with that. It's always a pleasure to work with the goodies until they decide to pretty much lose their marbles.
Yeah. I'm going to pick a topic. And this is because I want to know your opinion on this because I'm going to make a joke. I'm going to open it up with a joke.
Oh no! Open it up with a joke.
Yeah.
That's
So the point says PHP gets a new web server built in Go, and it's called Franken PHP. Now, PHP's had 3 major versions. So there's the core PHP engine, HHVM, and then hip hop.
HHVM and hip hop are the same thing.
Sorry, and Hacker, the alternative one that was it Hacker, the one that
No, it was just the one. It was just hip hop virtual machine, which was the runtime in the parser for Hack.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And now we have one built in Go. Does this feel any more like we're going to write Perl using Perl to serve Perl that compiles using Perl as a compiler?
It's that kind of that meme, isn't it? I made all your JavaScript so you could JavaScript in your JavaScript.
Yeah, but this time at least it's 2 different languages. I did some Go so you could PHP.
I mean, that's what it is. I think that it's quite an interesting prospect of it. So it's called Franken PHP, and it's when you work in, for anyone that doesn't work in PHP, i.e., pretty much everybody. There's a built-in.
Everybody works in PHP, just WordPress.
Just as dangling the carrot in front of me, hoping that I'll bite. Also, that means that Mike's actually been reading my tweets recently. So it's there's a built-in server for PHP like there is with Ruby, and is there one for Python? Not sure.
Yeah, the Python has its own built one. It's the reason simple HTTP, so you can use it.
So if it comes out of the box with version 3, right?
Yeah, I think it comes out of the box with version 2.
Oh, okay. So, but it's your classic kind of development server. You just want to botch something together, and then Symfony and Laravel use it. This thing which is built on top of the Caddy web server built in Golang. So it's a Golang, but it's specifically built to was passing PHP as a PHP web server written in Golang, which means the server itself is fast, but if you're going to use a asynchronous framework with it, i.e. React PHP, or the other one, which is X framework, I think it's called, where it uses PHP fibers, which is coroutines.
I do like that they now exist. Thank you very much.
Coroutine. There you go. See, look, I got something positive out of mine. So coroutines from PHP that are non-blocking with Golang, passing it at runtime.
Hang on. Are you saying, we've got PHP, but to make it work really well is a multi-threaded language, we're going to use Go multi-concurrency programming?
Yeah, I mean that's what Hack was like, wasn't it? We're using PHP. It's great for Facebook. This won't do what you want to do. Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to write a brand new engine for it, and then we're going to put a whole level of abstraction on top of it to make a new language, which is backwards compatible. PHP, JavaScript, mother of invention languages, aren't they?
No, they're mother of desperation languages.
Say
we need that now. Let's just bolt it on.
I wouldn't say desperate. I would say I don't want to learn a new language, so I'm going to make PHP/JavaScript do something that it really, really wasn't designed to do.
And this is the reason we have the double claw.
Respect the double claw.
I hate Phil Sturgeon for introducing me to that, by the way.
I've used that phrase many times. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it was where someone went on this ranting famous blog post and the PHP community embraced it. And one of their standout lines was, using PHP is like having a box of tools where, okay, well, I've got a claw hammer, but it has 2 claws on both sides. And then you have sandpaper that's like mostly worn down. These things are like, okay, they're sort of useful, but also not that great. So we were like, well, double claw, good. Respect the double claw. There you go.
Yeah, still. But yes, I can get where it's coming from. I appreciate it, but also like it. we're getting to meta levels. Like, can we just keep the compilers and the lower level stuff down to like lower level languages like C and shit? So at least then I can not remember that they exist.
A lot of a lot of people don't really sort of realize when starting out that PHP is effectively, compiled from C. It's just C with a lot of secret sources what it started off with, and now it's unreadable C. So when you talk about the compilers, do you mean on top of what's actually happening under the hood is starting to get to the rocket science level, and you think this is just a server web page. To do something really, really simple.
Oh, God.
I
days when I wish I was just a simple web dev again.
Exactly. Can I just? I'm not going to for privacy reasons. So I'm not going to mention any names or anything because it's a very, very valid question. But I'm a mentor at the School of Code.
Same.
Congrats
to us.
I got asked by I got asked by my mentee today a very, very valid question because they get crammed with. Well, can you imagine the barrier to entry to be a web dev in full stack JavaScript now? It's just sort of like
it's
how do you
only
explain
one language and how many concepts and tools?
Well, exactly. I mean, they asked like a while back. I had to explain the reason why. Like, but why does JavaScript have 4 different ways of writing a function? And you're like, okay, right. The best thing to say here is there just is. It's like this, not the whole sort of like what was it called again? What was something variable hoisting or something mad that I couldn't remember what it was.
I know, it's like gather round, kids, as you get like a bit of straw into your hand around a campfire. Gather round, kids, and I'm going to tell you the story.
I'm going to tell you the story about jQuery. So my mentee said, "Okay, I'm hearing a lot of this banded around a bit, and I seem to have asked and looked online. I've not really found a sort of a coherent explanation. What is DevOps?"
Hang on. There is actually one core resource.
Which is?
Well, 2. There's the DevOps manifesto, the literal thing of what it is meant to be as a mentality.
Yes, that's true. There's the discipline, and then there's how it came about.
Correct. And then there is the DevOps for Dummies book, which I still think is flipping priceless.
Didn't think of the DevOps for Dummies book, but the only way that I can think of explaining things like this is just explaining what happened from the start. Otherwise, it makes no sense. It's just, yeah. Well, what you do is you chuck YAML all over the place in repositories, and then Harry Potter comes along and in Wingardium Leviosa, and that's what it is, isn't it? It doesn't make any sense at all. So I started off on that. Right, this is how we had physical servers, and then AWS and Facebook start virtualizing how it works, because that's how the innovation came across, where they're trying to use virtualization, which at that point was oh god, what was some of the early virtualization stuff before Vagrant was like really terrible.
No, like
VMware and
Citrix and whatnot.
Yeah, they were just somewhat dealing with that at scale was shockingly bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, explaining DevOps, that's just not an easy thing to do. You know how everyone has like a toilet record, where the DJ puts a record on and it's 12 minutes long and that's to go to the toilet. I don't need to go to the toilet, but I do need to let my cat out, who is a right pain in the ass right now.
Okay. If that's the case, do you want to pick a topic, and then I'm gonna.
You can start seeing. I'll tell you what. Let's go into the let's do a callback to a previous.
And this is the one I was going to cry about. Damn it!
Oh, okay. I should have guessed with this one, really.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we did a massive half a tech off topic on GitHub Copilot, and I did my rubbed the lamp and said, I predict this is where this is going to go wrong. That's completely mixed metaphor there. It's completely wrong. I said litigation. It's on its way. Ladies and gentlemen, the first one has arrived. GitHub Copilot is now been called to the court. not surprisingly.
Yeah. Okay. So, as Jim pointed out, back in the earlier part of the year, just whilst Copilot was coming around, and I used Copilot during that time because I thought it was a great idea. Then I started to read up about it, and we found out that hang on, nobody seems to have given consent. Nobody seems to have taken into account licensing, etc. And then 2 days ago, there was a post on the register, which I'm assuming where you got it from was the post in the reg, because I read this as well.
Reg. I heard about it somewhere else. I think someone just posted it on Twitter or something.
Okay, so it's on Wednesday. The title of the post is "How GitHub Pilot Could Steer Microsoft into a Copyright Storm," as everybody starts going, hang on, the war shall begin with the robots.
I haven't actually looked at what it was specifically, what code it was.
I don't know which specific one, but like I read that article and was like, oh my god, everything. The reason I was going to cry about this is I really don't want Tech Off Topic where me and you ramble on the internet and make no real sense, and suddenly we become a predictive measure for the doom of software. That's what I wanted to cry about.
Do you remember the football octopus thing in Germany?
Yes.
The octopus that predicted because then we could say then we could say anything, couldn't we? We could say I want a scenario. I could say something hilarious like running Linux on Windows, but that's done. And then we've got another thing, which is like, oh, why don't we have like a subsystem for Android? But then anyway, that's on the list as well. It's got to be. I put topics to avoid, right? And I'm only going to say his name once, but
no, don't say Daddy.
Elon Musk, and then insert what he's done.
Well, which one? Because there's currently this week a lot. Well, in the last 2 weeks, there's been Twitter and fucking Tesla, both of them.
I don't care.
On the other side, here's a bit of news you may not have read about. So Elon Musk taking over the stupid Twitter, and the shitstorm that is the hellhole of Twitter right now is going to get worse. Kanye West is going to look into Parler. Now, I'm not sure if you had read that one, but I was given an article the other day, and Kanye West is looking into taking over the right-wing version of Twitter. Do we want a mentally unstable man in controlling social media for the nutters?
What I do to stay sane about these things is I have no control over what these people do. None of us do, and if it gets to a point where these kind of things impact us, then we can change. We can ditch one technology, and it has happened before. But in general, watching what these morons do is just I just sit back and just think this is hilarious, and they think they're so clever as well. That's what I love about it. Like Kanye West, because he's an auteur and he's an artist. When his sort of big comeback onto Twitter after being banned from Instagram, the first thing he did was he went on some sort of weird anti-Semitic rant thing, and I couldn't really understand. He basically said, "But because I'm black, I'm Jewish," and you're looking, going, "I'm not really sure where you're going with this, Kanye. What are you trying to achieve?" And then he had that T-shirt, and he went to a fashion thing that said, "White lives matter," and you're like, "What are you doing?" It's like like you've got a D20 from like a Dungeons and Dragons game, and you just roll it and see what happens next.
For charisma.
There's a BBC documentary on which they're advertising. Is it BBC? I can't remember if it's BBC, and it's called something like the Elon Musk Show, and the whole thing is just like this. The second I spoke to him, I knew he was a genius, and I knew that this guy was going to lead us into the future. And you're going, do you mean he was a man that was already rich that joined PayPal, and then he could just do what he liked because he was so rich?
I don't believe he was rich going in. Well, I believe he wasn't poor.
A bit like the inspirational tweet on LinkedIn where it was like, these businesses all started in their parents' garage. What are you going to do? And you're like, do you mean they were given $100,000 by their rich parents to build those businesses up? That's what actually happened.
Yeah,
it's a bit like that. Like he wasn't. Elon Musk wasn't a millionaire to start with.
Oh
Okay.
no, we've just been informed he was worth millions going into PayPal. So okay, I stand happily corrected.
There you go.
The problem is,
What he's good at is, do you know what? Okay, it's a bit like the. I'm not going to go into politics. It's a bit like, have you ever considered to be really successful at being a millionaire? Have you tried having more money?
you know you're straight up channeling Jonathan Pye there.
Who's Jonathan Pye again? You've mentioned Jonathan Pye before.
Oh.
Is he the one that did the email thing on TED? Is that him?
Possibly, but he's a comedian. He is a character of a comedian. That does like every time there's a major political thing in the UK, does a YouTube video on it.
I know.
He
I know.
published one today about Liz Truss.
Oh, that's going to be hilarious. Anyway, we're not going into that. Okay, yeah, But Elon Musk, he genuinely thinks he's an absolute genius, doesn't he?
To be fair, he's not dumb, but he's also complete. No, as in like there are people who are rich and are dumb. Like they don't seem to be able to make a good choice in their bloody lives. No, Elon Musk has made really good choices to get more rich. Like
Yeah, that's true.
You can't like say no. It's like Kim Kardashian. Like she got famous for a sex tape and then she built a goddamn empire. You just can't disagree. Like
you can't fault that. It's like, well, I know how to make money. I think what's
but that
disagreeable.
doesn't stop there being a toxic waste of breath.
Yeah, that's true. That's what it is. I think you're right with that. That's what the difference is that Musk is just like he's got so much money now as one of the richest people in the world. He thinks whatever he says and does makes him very, very clever. And so it's not like he's stupid, it's just that level of ego is now funny because it's stupid.
I've just realized we've gone on a fucking rant about the two people who said we weren't going to go on a rant about.
That's true. Really terrible kind of. I was waiting to see like if we just get off on a really really random tangent.
What you mean, like the homunculus one last time?
Was that the last time or the one before? That was definitely.
That was the one before that. Yeah, good point.
So we could just go for we could just go for the one. Well, it's your choice next, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm more than welcome because I'm actually going to be sharing in chat because it appears that people don't know who Jonathan Pye is. That Jonathan Pye is jonathanpye.com.
There's a pie for that, and we grow the pie, and we get a bigger slice of the pie. And that bit in Shaun of the Dead where he calls his team together in the shop and goes, right, everyone. And they're all sort of 17 and don't really want to be there. But right, everyone, it's a team meeting. Go team. Right. So there's not an I. There's not an I in team, but there is an I in pie, and we're all members of the pieces of the pie. And then one of the kids like mobiles goes off. Hello, mate. How you doing? I don't want to be here. What are you like? What 25, 17? It's a bit like that. I love it when people just talk nonsense.
Yeah. Okay. If that's good, I'm going to pick one because I want to know where this is coming from. Because as far as I can tell, this never fucking changed. This didn't stop being a thing. Hey, pop the cloud, move to physical infrastructure. We never moved from physical infrastructure. We've been like, oh, everybody's selling a hybrid solution. You can have it in your office or your data center and online. It's all one thing. It's like bullshit. It's all the same shit. It's metal. You're just paying somebody else to manage it or you're managing it.
What's that? What's this? I think, ladies and gentlemen, we should give this mic voice like a name.
I call it my adenoid's voice.
Oh, you have said that before. Your adenoid's voice. It's not going to work.
No, we can't do that. I've got to take the Jag down to the garage.
That's it. You always say that quote as well. The Jag down to the garage, and I don't really know why. I know lots of Jaguar owners out in sort of like Hagley and Bell Broughton and posh places in Worcestershire. None of them talk like that.
No, because you're like, the Jag.
No, you need to do the lower voice. You need to do the Jacob Rees-Mogg. Oh, we'll just go in the Jag. It's fine. So
bloody hell, you sound like a raw when you do it.
For those that didn't hear my radio interview, I am a public school boy, so I'm permitted to take the piss out of myself. Because when I do that, that's what pretty much everyone that I went to school with sounds like. And I don't really keep in contact with anybody from school. Anyway, pop the cloud, pop the cloud.
Yeah,
Hey,
where's it
Bing.
come from?
It's what's really funny is you've misread it.
Oh, okay.
What I should have put is, hang on a minute, if I
I
amend.
thought you read it out verbatim.
Hold on. Yes, you did, but you've not got the.
Oh.
Hey.
Okay, so hang on. I got it right. You put it in grammatically incorrectly. That's your fault.
Oh, but it was a joke. Hey, pop the cloud. Let's move to physical infrastructure. It's actually, hey, popping in the cloud. DHH did one of his sort of magnificent. I don't. Does anyone listen to him anymore? He did one of his sort of important posts saying, "I'm going to tell you about everything that's happening at base camp, and now, Hey are moving all of their infrastructure back to physical servers." And
this is your DHH comment.
Yes.
Oh, right. That cunt can fuck off.
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is rated at 18 plus.
Sorry.
Having said that, an interviewer at a famous person at Channel 4 did get reprimanded and put on leave temporarily for saying the same phrase about a politician, which was very funny. I think he should have been given a raise.
Right. For those of you who are unaware, DHH is somebody who has appeared at least twice in the previous podcasts that I have ranted against. There's also been a reason why I've said that Ruby should be shot, not because of Ruby, because of him. And he is the founder of Basecamp, the project management software. He is one of the original creators of Rails, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I think that's right.
And he is an absolute shitebox who tried killing off his staff for profit. As well as then saying, if you can't make money, what is the point of you existing? And then also going, open source doesn't work. Your fucking career was built on the back of it, you nonce.
He's a walking kind of contradiction, really, isn't he? He's just it's a bit like sort of I don't even know any of the names. There's the foreign minister or something for Russia, and every time he says something, you go, right, so the opposite is happening. It's that every single time. Whenever something comes out of his mouth, you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. It's going to be the opposite of what you say.
Spicy!
I mean, it's not that spicy, is it?
No, it's not that spicy. It's just stupid. So, yes.
Like saying Russia is bad is not that controversial anymore, is it, really?
No.
Anyway.
No. But no. So, right. So, DHH has appeared in multiple talks I've delivered and this podcast where he is a very holy, and when I say holy is in his entirety, shit human.
Yeah. And I think when
he's a feckless man with an awful product who believes he is God's gift to software.
When he makes these big statements, these big sort of sweeping statements of, right, because I'm a thought leader, I'm going to introducing this, and it's a whole new concept, and I'm the first person that's ever thought of this. When the community in general, starting off with the Rails one and Ruby, and now just anybody, jumps on his back and says, "Are you not being a bit of a dick about this?" He does what quite a few people that I know do, that in similar ways into the some of this happens in the music industry, not huge, like we're talking about Kanye, it's not people like that, but they basically they can't deal with people saying we don't care, or why are you talking as if you've reinvented the internet, and so they have personal sort of meltdowns and then blame everything on their company on the fact that they've got mental health issues, and you just think, well, I've got a really good idea on how you could avoid this. It's like, hey, J.K. Rowling, do you know how to not be offended all the time? I've got a really good idea. Hey, Gray Linehan, do you want to not be broken and like appealing to your friends that you used to write comedy with for money? I've got a way to avoid that. Guess what it is?
Jesus, but yes. So when he says the cloud is dead, long live the server. One, I think he missed the point about the fact the cloud was just other people's servers. And even if he's going to run it on the infrastructure, I put good money on he's going to pay an external company to do it because he doesn't fucking know.
Your language is really fruity today.
Hey, this happens every time you point me at certain people.
Maybe I should just stop putting these people in the agenda. What, I need to actually find out what they would do. I need to find out the reasoning why they've decided to move all their infrastructure from cloud back to.
I bet you it's some form of, oh, well, we can't trust the cloud providers because they're going to shut us down, / oh, we need to control costs. We need to know exactly how much box we've got. And then this comes to the old thing of like, okay, so your application 15 years ago started on a box. And when you had too many people use your box, you then got a bigger box. And then you ended up having a data center. And then you became Amazon.
What I don't know, this happens with Elon Musk as well, is that when they get to this level, like there's this sort of huge disciple follower base that hang off every word. Why? So I found the article, why we're leaving the cloud. And it's had one foot in the cloud for well over a decade. Hay's been running there exclusively. Okay, fine, that's standard. Continuing to, we're at times we're paying an absurd premium for the possibility that we could be running at full capacity. Right. So their auto scaling isn't working.
Okay, so that means somebody fired that ops team last year when they wouldn't go back into the office and is now suffering a poorly managed infrastructure.
Oh, I didn't think about that when they did they were come back into the office, and they were also you're not allowed to discuss amongst your peers anything vaguely you're not allowed to mention Black Lives Matter. So it's like, these chickens are coming home to roost.
We've had a comment that the post says they currently pay over 500,000 to AWS a year. That's RDS and Elastic Stack. Right. Then that just means you have not flipping built your infrastructure properly. You've gone, you know what? We're just going to make everything elastic and leave it at that. You know what that means? You didn't think about capacity planning and actually thinking out your infrastructure. You just went, oh, they do it all for us, rather than learning how to do it properly.
I mean,
it's like, you know what? I've heard this great thing. It's called Heroku. Let's just put it all there.
God. I'm a.
You wonder when the bill's big.
DHH is this sort of big titan and is incredibly successful and a millionaire, and I'm a nobody.
I'm sorry.
I'm reading this.
They'll be impotent.
I'm reading this, and I'm thinking, but that surely is the only explanation. So he's saying that the flexibility of the AWS pricing doesn't work for Hay. Well, surely that means that you've not configured it to be flexible.
Yeah.
Am I being stupid? Am I missing something here?
No, literally, that's the nail on the head. That is literally what I've just said. They have gone, oh, the flexibility. We don't have to think about this. We can have an almost no ops approach to this. Okay. When you go for a no ops approach, you pay for the no ops approach. That's literally what it's designed for. If you want to have tighter control on your capacity and spending, you then have to invest in the architecture and management of said architecture. That is the reason why we have SREs and infrastructure teams.
Specifically, he also says this isn't just about cost. It's about what is it? Are there any tech translators in the chat? This isn't about cost. It's about what kind of internet we want to operate in the future.
is he going to start shilling for Web3?
Oh, I wonder if he's preparing himself to get into Web3. That would be funny. Do you remember? Does anyone remember that Web3? That was funny, wasn't it?
Well, the horrible thing is it's still a bloody thing, mate.
I don't know because I'm not paying attention to it. I've even stopped looking at the things, laughing at it now because it's just so not bothered. What is happening is I'm now engaging with recruiters one-to-one in LinkedIn, where I'm pretty much saying no, and they're going, "You do realise that you're missing out in the future." No, I don't think that's it.
I had so much fun this week. I have wasted at least £3,000 on behalf of other people.
Do you mean just in time, or if it's like an actual value?
Oh, in time. I've literally wasted people's time going for interviews for Web3 companies that I had no intention of going
I can tell you're unemployed now, because I mean to have the amount of time to say, sure, I'll do an interview. Do you know what? The technology you've got here, pretty cool. How are you using it? Um, I'm just gonna move on from that. I love this. It's like, when people say there's few things more certain in life. There's death and taxes, and descending into Web3 has got to be one of them for this podcast. What about
Hang on, you know that old thing? It's like, all arguments end with Hitler. No, all tech arguments will end with Web3.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Here's what I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick one here because I'm fascinated with the company and how, and whether it's actually managing to turn a decent profit with its product.
Okay.
Like a lot of people, I definitely mentioned this on a previous podcast. This is where I start freaking out that I'm like a broken record and I have no substance to what I talk about whatsoever. But I've definitely mentioned No Man's Sky at some point.
Well,
When
to
I
me, directly, yes, but I don't remember on stream it being.
when I mentioned like pretty much everyone, I think, when I saw Sony's E3, is it E3? I can't remember what it's called. When No Man's Sky debuted, and also Sony, I think themselves bumped them to the top slot.
Yeah.
A company in Guildford called Hello Games that had about 9 employees bumped them to the top
Hang
spot.
on. Just as a point of reference, just as a counterbalance, this happened years ago with id Soft.
Which, as we now know, is as I know it, ID Software, who made Doom, which I didn't. It's apparently.
This also happened with idsoft. They got bumped massively back in the day when they were a small, and the same with Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog was originally a team of 5 to 10 people, and then they became the best seller for PlayStation, so they got lobbed everywhere. Size of company doesn't matter if it's a key PlayStation franchise. Sony don't care.
Yeah, but No Man's Sky in development was not a key thing. It was, we think that these people are about to build the coolest game ever made.
It was kind of cool.
Well, when like everyone else, when I saw the trailer, I thought, I can't actually quite believe what I'm seeing. And then Sean, what's his name? Is it Sean Murray? Got on stage and made the mistake of saying what will be in the game, which is what they were trying to build. And he couldn't promise. He couldn't deliver on any of his promises, and they shipped with probably, I don't know whether it was Sony or whether it was because it was released with Xbox at the same time. They couldn't deliver on any of their promises. The game didn't do anything. It was boring. It's like you can wander around these beautiful these beautiful planets. So No Man's Sky was released in 2016, and then they did something. They've only grown their team a little bit. Then they proceeded to do something that I just think is I've just never seen before. They spent 2016, not 2016, 2017, 18, 19, 20, so 6 years. They spent 6 years not releasing any new games and only fixing the game that they originally released.
Well, this is starting to sound like CD Projekt Red.
Well, on a smaller scale, somewhat. Is this fixing? You talking about fixing Cyberpunk?
Yeah, the fact that they haven't done anything else but Cyberpunk because they had to fix
Was
everything, and now they
wasn't
finally start shipping DLC,
it wasn't
which
actually?
they promised for the next 3 years.
But this is different. So this is different because it's not, they said that none of this has been DLC. It's all free. So I opened up my Steam Deck about 3 or 4 days ago, and version 4, which is called Waypoint for No Man's Sky, dropped, and it's another eight gig of game data thrown on top of it. They've made a game that's completely unrecognizable from when they released it. It's amazing. No Man's Sky is like an amazing game, and I don't understand how they're making money, like doing all these free, like working on it, because then you got to get new sales. How does it work?
To be fair, I'm pretty sure they get paid directly from Sony as part of because if I remember correctly, No Man's Sky was part of the PSN Plus stuff. So kind of like Xbox, but Games Pass, etc., where you do receive income as a game that is on that platform.
I mean, I guess, but it's a one-time purchase. So even if you are doing that and you get a percentage of sales, then how does from a sort of what you're talking about is the model that they've got is software maintenance, which dealing with it. Well, I say dealing with their tech debt. They're probably not dealing with their tech debt, but they're probably having to reverse engineer a lot of how the original physics engine works in order to crowbar new things in. That's going to cost them a bomb of developer time.
Yeah.
I mean,
feature creep. That doesn't mean rewriting anything, right?
Feature creep. Got to love a bit of scope creep. Actually, scope creep is my worst enemy at the moment. It's just I need to drop this into the sprint. I need to drop this into the sprint. I need to drop this into the sprint. That's become a bit of a sort of a permanent fixture of my work at the moment.
Oh, good God.
I mean, I look forward to seeing what they're doing next, but incidentally,
actually, here's a great troll comment. I'm just going to put it up because I think it's brilliant.
That is from the descriptions that I've read about when it came out. That's like everyone asks the questions like, do you know what?
I've just realized I didn't do the proper podcasting thing. The statement says it was a great walking simulator. And then my brain just went, hang on, that's Death Stranding with less weird aliens.
Oh, I don't know that. Is it more exciting than Euro Truck Simulator 2?
No, because it turns out you can have demolition mode in that because you can just have people join a local land and nut each other.
Oh, that would be great fun. I remember I love finding niches on YouTube sometimes. So Euro Truck Simulator, someone had built a full virtual truck, a sort of flying simulator style, with the gearbox, with a working gearbox.
Fudge me, really?
With a big with a big thing to drive it. And like, right, okay, guys, this is insert name of fancy handle. And I'm gonna be driving from Moscow to Budapest today. Let's get going. Takes the handbrake off. Okay.
I'm not going to lie.
Sure.
I probably watched that in the back of the stream. That's nearly as good as watching the runway for Heathrow. What was it? Big Blowy Jet Day.
What's Big Blowy Jet Day?
Do you not remember this earlier this year when planes were just trying to land, but they were all going sideways, and it was just people watching it on YouTube because it was fascinating.
Oh yes, the storm. I do remember that. That was. I mean, it's terrifying. I'd like to make
Big
sure.
Blowy Jet Day. That's what I said.
Big Blowy Jet. Was that the official title?
Well, that's why I named it because I couldn't remember what it was for a few minutes.
Well, I think we've got the name for this episode. Is probably going to be Big Blowy Jet Day. So,
Big Jet TV. That was it. Big Jet.
Oh
TV.
yes, Big Jet TV. Was that this year?
That was this year.
Oh my goodness!
I think it was this year.
All
right, to be fair, for the last 3 years, time is becoming an amorphous, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey thing.
Oh, Big Jet TV. I don't understand what's happening to time anymore.
Do I need to put this on screen or not?
I mean, I'm just going to look to see if it's like. I mean, it's still there, but oh no, it was this year. Storm Eunice.
That was it, Eunice. Oh, which is one of the worst names possible. Because that just makes me think immediately of National Lampoon.
Is the main character called Eunice?
One of
I
the
don't
main
know.
characters.
The only one I watch is the only bits that I remember that are outside of the Christmas one, which I watch pretty much every year, is when they get stuck on an island or a roundabout to everyone else, where they keep on going round and Big Ben has Barnum kids, Big Ben has Barnum kids, Big Ben has Barnum kids. So they have to keep on pointing out.
Oh, here's a reference for you. Did you know the first Van Wilder movie was National Lampoon?
That's a good pub fact.
It's National Lampoon's Van Wilder Party Advisor.
Late 80s? When would that be?
Fucking Ryan Reynolds, you pleb.
Oh,
like
okay,
2001 or like 1999.
That's same thing to me. I thought that I was young when it was 1999, and I'm old now, so it doesn't make any sense.
National Lampoon's Van Wilder, 2002.
2002. Okay. For reference, when I bought that Medal of Honor Allied Assault, where you went on Normandy beaches on PlayStation 2.
Oh,
That's a modern.
That's a fight at the Flak Tower, which was ingrained into my brain.
That was the one. Modern computer games, not like any of the now it's Space Age. So big jet TV.
We have truly reached tech off topic. Yes.
I think we've gone off topic, but we haven't. But it's not silly enough. It's not been silly enough.
All right, chat. You have a challenge because we're probably going to end in the next 15 or so minutes. If you could throw a topic which will send us truly off topic, challenge.
Make it silly. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of podcasts, a random fact for the day is my wife found out that there's a one of the biggest podcasts at the moment is the one hosted, the parenting one, which is hosted by Josh Widdicombe and Rob Beckett, and originally it was called the Parenting Lockdown Podcast, I think, during lockdown, just about dealing with kids. And so they did an audiobook of it, and you could send in recordings of your child saying things for the chapters for the audiobook, so they would use a different kid.
Okay.
And Jen did a recording of Alex saying feeding, and they picked it. So my son is in the official audiobook, and they gave a little spiel and said, "Oh, that's the cutest one we've had yet." And I think that's probably the best thing that's happened this year.
Okay. It's nice to know your kid's more famous than you.
That's true. Although I got interviewed for local radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the peak, Jim. He is never going to get any better than this. He has been on local radio.
Do you know who I am? I've been on local radio.
I'm sorry, I've just got Vinnie Jones. Do you know who I am? I'm the juggernaut.
I was doing Northern. I mean, Vinnie Jones is, what, mate?
Right. Have you not seen X-Men? X-Men Last Stand, I believe.
I've seen an X-Men at some point. Is that the thing with Patrick Stewart where he's not Picard?
And the nerds in the room lose their shit.
I watched the first two. I'm like, I started when the Marvel universe started expanding. Like, when they started
before the Marvel universe.
Oh, I know. So I watched two of them, and then I just got bored. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Whatever you can be, you can turn into a chameleon, or you're basically Geordie the Forge, but you've got laser eyes. Fine, whatever.
Here we go. Here's a tech off topic one, and it's actually priceless. So I'm going to put it on because it's going to derail us because it is that time of year.
Uh-oh.
How much do we think a large Bratwurst and beer will cost at this year's German market?
It's either going to be Stuart Langridge or Dan Nunes that's going to that's going to put that on.
It's Dan. It's Dan.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
You've never lived in the city long enough whilst it's the German street market. It's hell.
I've had two. Hold on. I lived in the Jewelry Quarter, and I've had
For about 2 years.
yes, so that's two German markets.
Yes, but you also didn't commute through the Jewelry Quarter at that time.
But for context, the spammy the Dan let's throw a grenade into the mix here is we we have we have in Birmingham we have a German market. It's the largest German Christmas market.
It's the largest Frankfurt market outside of Germany.
Right. But the way that it's structured is it's the same 3 stands replicated throughout the whole city.
Yes, it is. And the horrible thing is, it is positioned literally right next door to New Street and completely in the way of everything.
It is in the way of everything. I
Yes.
can't. You know, however, when I go, this is extremely privileged position to be in. So your experience is not going to be this at all.
Your mileage may vary.
I go in on a Tuesday. I get a Bratwurst, have a wheat beer. You know, my wife has a Glühwein, and we there's really comically zany things happening all around us, and I don't know. There's an Oompa band in the background, and then we go, "That was fun. That's the Christmas thing," and then we leave. Christmas markets are great.
Yeah, my problem is trying to get. So at one point, ladies and gentlemen, I had to commute through New Street whilst living and working in Birmingham. And so there was a period in 2018 where I was working 12-hour days for a company called Pact. Fuck them. And I had to go through that mess very late in the evening, which means skipping beer and going home before ex-wife killed me. And well, it was 2017. That was before the divorce. And it was hearing, hey, hey, baby, whilst going, oh my God, the idiots are out.
And it's about 2 months long now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I actually was sat in 200 degrees on Monday, just grabbing a coffee, and I saw the trucks rolling in with all of the drinking stand, not the stalls, just the things that you use to lean against whilst you're drinking.
What is the problem, Mike? Do you not like drinking? You're not liking the beer also? He's got a beer in his hand, so he does. The original question was the price. So I don't know.
I do believe we are going to have a point of inflation because the one thing about the German market is the Bratwurst actually is imported.
So it's authentic stuff. But if they put the prices up, so are we going to... Something has to trigger the riots in general for the country. Do you think it's going to be the price in the German market? Let's call a spade. We could, instead of a general strike, Birmingham, you know, where Birmingham goes, the country
inevitably ignores. But yes,
that's actually what does happen. But then, if the price of a Bratwurst is suddenly £6, and it's like, well, do you know what, mate? I know you think you're in Birmingham now, but it's basically London, so it's the same thing. So what do we do? Do we smash the glasses?
Oh shit! The price of a pint at the street market is going to be the same as drinking down by the bank.
The bank.
As in bank. Sorry, as in bank. The area of London where all the bars are redundant.
And then the Brummie accent will change, won't it? Instead of like sort of Brummie accent, it'll be like, oh god, yeah, oh man, okay, I tell you what, Tompkins invested in this yield last week, and like it's totally like busted. Could I have some more? Could I have another pork cob, please, my good man?
To be fair, if they have the shop that sells a Yorkshire pudding with a Christmas dinner inside it, I'm sold.
Yorkshire puddings.
Oh,
they're just shite, aren't they?
You're fundamentally wrong.
They're rubbish. My dad used to spend ages for a Sunday roast. Like, well, you know, I make my own Yorkshires, and they're all right. It'll do. You chuck some gravy, it makes it meaty. It's good. whatever. Instead of just getting the giant one, I took the Aunt Bessie's ones that are frozen do just as good a job.
And here, ladies and gentlemen, is how to start a fight with your average English family. I would say British, but as far as I can tell, no, it's only English people who have a really weird, like, protective nature about the Yorkshire pud.
Have you seen that video of? Have you seen the video of that video of a Scottish bloke explaining the full English? I mean, it's the Scottish variation of it. Man, that is good. It's all right. Okay, so you've never heard of it before, okay? But I got an idea. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a load of meat on a plate, like a massive plate of meat, and it's gonna have, I don't know, what's it gonna have in it? A pig that's kind of blended, and a pig that's been cured with like salt and stuff, and then the pig's blood, and like it's congealed, and then we'll fry it. That'd be great. Jesus, this sounds really bad. Is there anything else with it? Like, I don't know. Well, I suppose we've got to make it balanced, so we'll put some vegetables with it, and I don't know, something like that. Well, what vegetables are you gonna put it? Mushrooms. No one really likes them. We'll take some like beans in a can with some like stodgy, not very nice tomato sauce, and sort of put that everywhere. Goodness, what kind of dinner is this? Like, this is like when you plan to eat this sounds like it's just carbs. Oh, this is for breakfast, mate. That's a good explanation of the full English.
I'm sorry, I was just waiting for you to say, and the tatties.
Well, no, because otherwise you're going like haggis, neeps, and tassies or whatever.
Just as an FYI, Daniel Nunes, fantastic job on derailing us in a most excellent way.
Started off with Canonical. I tell you what, let's take different types of pig. I reckon that's a good derailing. This episode has achieved its aims.
Yep. Hang on. So, right, do we need to do the usual selling our souls for the community, etc.?
You say selling your souls as if we're going to do like an advert that we get paid to do, and what we're actually
doing. Paid to do it, but we do it every time, and we should, because you know what? We're both advocates for the community of Birmingham and the wider tech community.
Yes. First thing, easy option. I'm going to take the easy option, which is Hack the Midlands.
I've just dropped the link in.
There we go. Hack the Midlands, the largest
Midlands in a weekend time.
Of its type.
The spiritual successor to Hack Fronts, as far as I can bloody tell, in the West Midlands area. It is a hackathon. So come to the West Midlands and build shit next weekend if you've got nothing else to do.
Yes. There's as per usual, there's the kind of the unique perspective of it, which is the only one where there's safeguarding for under 18s. That doesn't happen at any other major league hacking events. And also to please Dan, because I didn't realize before, Jump 24 have just been added as a gold sponsor along with BJSS. Sense. Who is Sense? I don't know who Sense are. I have some Googling to do. Majestic, Capgemini, Capital One, quite a lot of sponsors. So that's cool. That's an essential one for a company of for an event of its size. We got a new meetup called Manage Ops, which is happening soon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a local weird one, which I actually massively agree with, but I still find it weird.
It's a meetup link, and it's a really interesting. There's a high demand for it, really.
It's a meetup specifically for those who want to be engineering managers or are engineering managers, so they actually have a place to talk with people. Because you know what? When I got dropped into being the lead engineer, I had no idea what I was doing. I could have done with this.
Yeah. Also, people are terrible in general, and to have a soundboard to speak to other people about how terrible people are is kind of essential, right?
Jen, would you mind dropping the link for Manage Ops into the chat so I can into the private chat so I can share it with the chat?
Bob's a good one.
Tabard, because it turns out people in the chat actually want to know about this one.
It's it's a really, really good idea by
Stephen Hayes.
By Steve Hayes from Birdie and
Matt Andrews from The
if I
Economist.
there we go. If I can remember my own mates' names, Andrews, The Economist, and it's generated quite a bit of interest.
It's only existed for about 8 weeks, and it's already very successful, which is a bloody miracle.
Yeah, there was clearly like a high demand for it, and I think that the way that they position it is quite interesting as well, because in my kind of career path that's set by my company, you go for the individual contributor role, or you go for the management track, right? So it's that thing where when you want to go down engineering, you don't have to be to progress in your career. You don't have to be a manager. You can be you go into principal and staff engineer and things like that, and they have the same thing within my sphere in developer relations. It's exactly the same. And Matt made a really good point, which is, well, manage ops isn't necessarily to do with, it isn't just that kind of portion of it. It's to just do with people as well. So part of my role, for instance, I'm an individual contributor, but I have to navigate between engineering all the time and customers, and engineering are not fun. So I have to deal with people that are incredibly difficult to deal with.
Yes.
So it kind of like, well, this is relevant to me, which it is.
Yeah. And yeah. And you know what? Last one that's up, because we've already had Tech Mid, so we don't need to sell that anymore. Last one, really, I think, is this one. So this is the Fusion Meetup. And we are terrible humans, and we haven't got the website up. Both me and Jim are community people at, and James in chat as well, JMSVE. Now, we're all part of Fusion, and we have the next one on December 8th in Birmingham at the studio. And we have not done any announcements or set up any of the Eventbrite links or the webpage.
I mean, that's fine. We have just done one about 3 weeks ago, so it's not
true, but
that bad.
If you're after information, it will inevitably on that website, which was built by the wonderful James Vickery, and with my hackery on top of it.
Oh, I see. Vickery hackery. I see where you're going with that. One of the things that's really interesting about after Tech Mids was that the lightning talks were quite popular as a format, which we hadn't really, which we don't really see that often. Brum.js has done them once.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to big up the Tech Mids lightning talks too much because I was one of the speakers.
Narcissist.
Very, very much so, and I'm not saying that mine's important, but watch Stuart Language's one, because that's
I'm editing those this weekend, by the way.
That's quite fascinating. Oh, thank you. Right, so you for my narcissist thing, you'll put me on the internet doing my one. It was a really interesting kind of format, and it broke the day up from the big talks quite a bit, and it was some people really actually on Stuart's one that he did, one of the main points about his talk, which was about it was an inspirational piece about why you should get on stage and do tech talks even if you think you don't have anything to talk about, and that the audience are on your side, and that, you know, slow down and breathe, was the main point that I took away with it is he said people that look very under-rehearsed are actually very rehearsed. And I just thought, that's me, isn't it?
No,
to appear very chaotic, you have to design that.
Right, I'm sorry. Me and you, sir, are excellent at the fact that we can wing shit and bring absolute chaos for fun. It's both of our, I would say, our chief selling skills as DevRel.
Yeah, the takeaway of how to take something away is, oh, do you remember that? Do you remember him? And he was really bouncing around. He was nuts. And what was it about? Oh, actually, no, I can remember. It was about insert topic. And you think, yes, I didn't talk really, really slowly and paced, which was the advice that Stuart gave for some of the others, which is you have to find your style. It's
and
definitely,
ironically, he broke every one of his own rules during his own talk.
That's quite funny. I didn't even think of this as the meta thing of it. Anyway, the point I was getting at, apart from the fact that I apologise for anyone that see me on stage being absolutely chaotic, which is by complete design in order to get maximum engagement. Very, very cynical. It's classic dev role. It's definitely not marketing, but sort of is a little bit. Fusion. We're going for a bit of lightning talks. So we want lightning talks. Give us lightning talks.
Yeah. Oh,
if you think you don't have anything to say, very much not true. Probably you do.
And there we go. There's a link to the submission form, which has an option for dropping in a talk submission.
And boom goes the dynamite. I wish people did that more. I miss boom goes the dynamite.
You're an old man.
No.
Right. So, yeah, that's us. We've now talked about our crap for long enough. We've definitely gone off topic. Thank you, Dan.
I mean, if you're going to go off topic, Bratwurst and wheat beer is a smashing.
It's a solid option. It's a solid option. Either it is the off topic, or at least causes the off topic.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good one.
Right. So, thank you very much for listening into the podcast. Thank you very much for the people ridiculously active in chat today. We both appreciate it.
Thank you very much, everybody.
We'll see you in the next episode. No idea when that's going to be. Goodbye.